Hey guys, and of course this is Jim Bounds at Motorhome Rehab Ranch. The exciting video, here we are. We've talked about Power Level, Electro-Level, Electro-Level 2. I've talked about upgrades, that if you want to keep those things going, all three. Now, at 50 years, the whole system kind of needs a gold watch. And we need to reevaluate the whole thing. Now, what I'm going to do here, yes, I'm going to be subjective. I'm going to tell you what I feel, and I'm going to give you the reasons why. Everybody can't like the same thing, all right? What I'm interested in this exercise is, one, I want it as economical as possible. I want it with shelf parts that are off shelf, that are easy to get hold of. I want it understandable, where somebody comes up to it and doesn't need to have a checkout or anything like that to use it, just a normal use. And I want it easy to troubleshoot and maintain and fix. Okay. So the systems we're going to need to talk about are, first, the power source. Where are we going to get the power? Next is air supply. You might remember how we broke it up before. The next is air control. The next is auto function. And then backup. Because this is a mission critical system. And Ray, thank you very much, Ray, for the explanation to fail operational, not fail safe. Fail safe means that it doesn't blow anybody up, but it stops. We want it to be fail operational, where whatever component fails, we either have a workaround or that component can be taken out of the system and the system still works. Sounds complicated, but just bear with me a little bit. Have a pen and paper. You can pause this, go get a pen and paper. You don't know, you might run into something. And understand, this is going to be a bit of a long video there, so here we go. All right, pause now and get all your stuff. Get ready to go, get some popcorn, get a drink. All right. Got it? All right. So is a word I'm not supposed to use. I use so much. And just so you guys know, is a technical term. There has to be a certain amount of ahs in everything to make it work. All right, so here's the deal. First thing is power. Where are we going to get the power for this thing? And we want the power from the engine electrical system. So you can party all night and kill all those batteries, and this thing still starts up. Make sense? We want to use the power from the engine electrical system. The accessory on the power level, I believe, is a brown wire that comes out of the dash and it powers the whole thing. That comes off the fuse that says SUS in the fuse box, and usually has that silver plug-in circuit breaker that's heavy current. Okay, the other source is the B+. In other words, constant power. We pick that up from the vehicle battery positive under the passenger front hood. Okay, now, as everybody knows, my drawings are terrible, so you'll have to deal with it. Okay, here's our compressor. Isn't that beautiful? All right, here's our compressor. And we want to run it with engine power. Okay. But we don't want to run it the way it is now, because the accessory power goes through the ignition switch, it goes to the fuse box, then it goes through the fusible link, and then to the vehicle battery positive. We don't want to do that. Also, this system uses 12 volts. The longer the run, the more current it's going to take. We don't want to put this system in the back. I know it's kind of nice, you can go back there and work on it in the rain, but for many years, 3, 4, 5, and part of 6, the electrical system, the compressor and all that stuff was up front. Okay, so it's going to be up front because it's an 8 gauge wire from the vehicle battery positive okay, over here, from the vehicle battery positive into a relay. This is a Bosch relay. You've seen these little square relays. Okay. Okay, this is a 20 amp Bosch relay. So you're going to come out of the vehicle battery positive. You're going to have a fuse. That fuse will be right at the vehicle battery positive. You're going to have a 30 amp fuse right there. It goes to the relay. Then the relay comes out of the relay and it will go where? To the compressor. Makes sense? The accessory here will run the relay, right? But let's put a switch to kick it off, right? And then also, we're going to have, after we get going on here, we're going to have a regulator. 110 on, 145 off. We're going to have the regulator hooked in after the switch. Going to come down here, come over to the regulator, and then come to the relay and the regulator. So what's going to happen is, I'll tell you what, let me do something. Let me try to make this a little less nasty. Okay. The accessory is going to be red. Okay, the accessory is going to go to a switch. And out of the switch, it's going to come down to the regulator, out of the regulator back up and go into the relay. In other words, when the pressure is up, the relay is off. The relay is off, the relay is not putting power to the compressor. It's on the primary or the trigger side of the relay, so this can actually be a 20 amp regulator, not a 30 amp, because all of the power for that compressor is not going through the regulator. It's all going through just from the vehicle battery positive to the relay or through fuse, to the relay, from the relay to the compressor. I know most of you guys understand this, but for the other guys, just bear with me. All right, now we're going to use orange. This will run the compressor. Right? Now, when we come out of the compressor, what's the first thing we're going to need to do? We're going to need to dry the air. All right? So hold on one second. That's also, you're not supposed to do that, but that's okay. That's me. We're going to come out of the compressor, and we're going to go into an accumulator dryer, like this one. Got this at Home Depot. It's a Husky. You say, well, that's just their brand. Yeah. What this thing is 150 max pressure. We're going to be at 145. It takes down to, like, I think it was a 5 or a 4 micron here. It is also acting as an expansion tank. Plus, it's got its own little spit valve. Okay? $18. $18. So we're going to put an air dryer coming directly out of the compressor. You're going to go into this with the stainless steel line from the compressor. We'll go into here. The check valve is in that stainless steel line. Check valve will go right into there. And then we're going to come out of this, and we're going to go into the pressure switch. Have a T. Going to go into the pressure switch. We're going to come out of here. We're going to go to a Schrader valve where you can put air into it if you needed to. We'll have a block. See, you can make this into a manifold block. You can have a T here. This is plugged into here. And then we're going to come out of this, and we're going to go. The orange is air. The red is electrical. Okay. We're going to come out of the dryer, And we're going to go into, if you go to horn blasters, look up on their control systems, second page down, you're going to have one that has 2 paddle switches and a gauge in the middle. Dual gauge. Got a red and a green arrow on it, left and right. All right. This is like $175. $18 here. You're going to have about 160, 150, something like this here. The relay is $20. Pressure switch is like $27. Okay. You're going to come out of this and you're going to go into this controller. The controllers are very, very simple. It's got one end, it splits. This is your left side, this is your right side. It's an air valve. It's a paddle air valve. Very inexpensive, very reliable. You can look up these valves separately. Look up air paddle valve. They're easily replaceable. Airlift makes this. It's a big company. You'll buy it through horn blasters, but Airlift makes that. When you come out of there, we're going to come down to the airbags. Aren't those beautiful, right? So we're going to come out of these and we're going to go straight into that. Right into the airbags. They have 2 lines, left and right, going to the back and going to the airbags. Very simple. Now here's the thing. The Electro-Level 2, they were trying their best to get rid of airlines. Okay? Personally, when we were building full systems, we used the original airlines. The original airlines were hanging in there. So it doesn't bother me to use airlines. We're dealing with airbags. When we switched from electric energy to air energy with this compressor, keeping it at air energy is probably the most efficient rather than converting. All right. So this is a very inexpensive control system. And you can see here, now you'll have the backup. Now, first of all, you see where the power supply is coming from. You see where the air supply is. The air supply is direct drive. It has an expansion tank in it that will give it probably 2 or 3 psi of difference. Now this is a smaller expansion tank than even they used in the Electro-Level 2, but that's okay. If there are no leaks, this is fine for an expansion tank, and we need to address the humidity, especially in Florida, and we need to be able to purge it very easily, so this doesn't. So that is your air supply. Air control. This is available. You go online, it's Amazon, it's everywhere. But horn blasters is where we went. Very easily available. 2 airlines running to the back, going directly to the airbag, and then you put a shutoff and a filler at the airbag as your backup if all else fails. All right? Very simple, very inexpensive. You have $400 or $500 worth of stuff here. And when something fails, it's easy to replace. If you don't have any air leaks and the compressor works, it will go up. If the compressor doesn't work, you can put air with the Strader valve right here, and then you can use this, and then it will work. If this goes out, you can finally get your backup and come down here. Now, what's missing? What's missing? Auto. Okay? Let's talk about that a minute. The auto function, the Electro-Level 2 and in future use electronic controls. The problem with electronic controls, they've got to be specific. You've got to have specific components that all match together. And that may always not be the case to be able to do. And whenever you add electric, everybody, oh, I'm scared of that. Let's not do that. the original height control valve. Let's see if I can find it real quick here. Yeah, this original height control valve is readily available for about $100. Don't worry about that. It's readily available for about $100, and you already have a sample of your original one in place that you can just replace it. Now you say, whoa, why do I want to replace it? I've already got one in there and it works. Well, it does. But remember, 50 years, what we're trying to do is to make it reliable. You get it all working, you say, great job, have a beer. You go down the road and height control valve fails. Now, it has nothing to do with the system. You can see you'll stay up, but your auto system, again, Ray, it will fail operational. If the auto system that I'm getting ready to show you fails, this system will be completely operational, up and down. Make sense? And if you look at this gauge and you find out how much pressure left and right, by the way, it will be a different pressure because the coaches are not balanced. The airbags are balanced in the coach. So you'll have a red is right, green is left. You can put a nothing more than a Sharpie mark, and you'll know where it's supposed to be. At travel, at high, you can mark it. And just keep this completely and not have auto. Make sense? You can do that. But let's have auto. All right? Let's take and come off of this accessory switch. Come off the accessory switch before you go to the pressure switch. I want it hot all the time. So here's coming off the switch. We're going to come off of there, and we're going to come down here, and we're going to have 2 solenoids. Okay? We have 2 solenoids. And coming off the accessory, we're going to go to a switch right here. Oh, not here. We're going to go to a switch right there. It will turn on the auto function. And that one comes down and feeds the solenoids that bang, click. And what are they doing? Coming off of airline, orange, coming off of the back of here, going to the back of the coach is your hot, the feed that goes into this system. You're going to come off of that with another hot. And you're going to come down and you're going to feed it into these solenoids. When the solenoids are off, this pressure will go to here and will go to the back of these 2 solenoids. When you click it, it is tied right there to the lines going directly to the airbag. So what does it do? You got a height control valve, original height control valve. The airline comes into the height control valve and then back out to the air system, and then this solenoid kicks it in. Does that make sense? So for your auto function, all you're using are 2 air solenoids tied together from a switch. When you're not touching this system, that is pressure to your back pressure. When you flip the switches, puts these solenoids, puts the high control valves in, and now it's auto. 2 solenoids, 2 original, new, I would get new, they're cheap, high control valves, tied together to these solenoids, and you'll have auto. So your control panel, I've got a picture of the control panel, I don't have it up yet. Your control panel, your original control panel, you know, the one that kind of looks like that, terribly. Okay, make a new aluminum plate. and put these switches in it. Paddle up and down and your gauge, and have 2 switches. One is on off here, one is auto here. You could even put a light if you want, hooking up to it, okay? So this control panel, you turn the coach on, the compressor will come on for 10 seconds. Get it all up. You hold these up, air will pass through to the bags and it will go up. If you don't want to hold the switch, you don't want to hold these paddle switches, turn it on auto and it will go up to a preset auto light height. Then you could turn that off and then go up. What I usually do is I go to auto. It shuts, everything shuts off, and then I'll hold it and raise and count to 10. 1 elephant, 2 elephant, 3 elephant. Let it come on up. Now you're ride height in town. It might be 30 seconds. You'll just have to see how fast this system pumps it up. Doing that, you get the auto ride height, and then you push up, and it'll take care of it. Make sense? Now, I know that some of you guys out there we're going in the direction of electronics. And I agree with you. You can do all kinds of cool things today with electronics. You can have the height sensors, all this controlled in here. But again, we want it inexpensive, simple to understand. If you didn't know anything about this system, you go up and look at it, you'd have an on-off switch, an auto switch, and these 2 rockers. Turn the key on, lights come on. You would know what to do with this even if you didn't know anything about the system. So the logic of having this in there makes sense. Less components, only 2 electric systems, only 2 solenoids in the whole system and 1 relay. You're taking the current away from the ignition switch and the fusible link, and you're tying the main current to the compressor directly to the vehicle battery positive, direct to its own circuit. So you've made the electrical system in the coach more stable. If that makes sense. Power Electro-Level. Power level in that we're using mechanical valves, and we've already converted it to air before we're going to do anything. Electro in that we don't have a tank. We can clean the air and we have expansion. So, and then the high control valve is the regular air, which is easily available. I know electronics are cool and you got all kinds of presets and all that, but this is much more reliable. Okay, I hope that this makes sense to you, and give me your comments. Tell me what you think. Show me what you've got. Okay. Thanks for going to these 9 episodes and looking at all this stuff. Maybe this is might even be 10. Thanks, Ranch Hands, for doing this. Please hit like and share and all that stuff here on YouTube. And I tell you, pretty soon you're going to need to go to Patreon to pick us up there. Okay, just bear with me on that. So take some time, go to Patreon, because all of the pictures of different things and a picture of this, so you can have it for your very own, will be on the Patreon site. All right? Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.